Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael, of the tribe of Dan, of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, we do not, brothers and sisters, intend for this to be long. Nonetheless, we do want to bring this out to the family about what it is. And what exactly are we talking about? Love. L-O-V-E in English. And what exactly we are talking about in the Hebrew, the word Ahava. Now, it's a pretty simple word, and we're not going to go too deep into the Hebrew matter, but we do want to talk about love. There's a song that I used to be saying in Hashaba, and still is perhaps, I'm sure, called Where There Is Peace, There Is Love. The song is older than myself. And love is a verb, ahab in Hebrew, right? And it's an action. And in many cases, it's something that cannot be hidden. You understand? The Most High spoke about love when he introduced himself to the house of Israel, to those that love me and keep my commandments. So there is, brothers and sisters, an action regarding love, or ahaba. Ahabia, which is one of the people I knew when I was younger in Israel, coming out of Hashaba, became a popular name in Israel. Ahabia. Some say as Ahavia, meaning as my love. Ohabi, translated as my friend, and Isaiah chapter 41 truly means my love or my lover. And we say lover, we're not talking carnally or explicit in that case. And brothers and sisters, I know what it is personally to currently love somebody. And I want to read something before we get into this. This is in Genesis chapter 24, verse 67. Again, we are reading in Genesis 24, verse 67. If I can be heard and if people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you, my love, Sarai. And what does it say in Genesis 24, 67? And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. That's the power of a woman. It can either motivate you or stagnate you, depends on how you look at it. What kind do you have? If you please the Most High, says the Apocrypha, you will be delivered from the woman that is bad for you, that don't mean you any kind of good. And I'm going to try to jump to say vice versa as well. You understand? Any man of the Most High knows that a woman of the Most High is going to put Yah first. Now, not to get too personal, I understand a portion when it says he was comforted after his mother's death. Let's use a movie, for instance. The movie South Central. That woman who sat there and said, what am I supposed to do? Just sit there and look at him when he was in the hospital, right? For those who do know it. That's the kind of woman that was around Solomon. It be neither mine nor hers, kill it. That's not Ahava. That's not love. Really, lady, you want me to kill the baby? I'm not killing this baby, man. The one that had the love? No. Give it to her, but please don't slay the child. That's a mommy. That's that love in that particular case. Child support, and this is not to be racial, correct me if I'm wrong, started in America in the 1800s when a white woman brought her baby father to court. I state that because a lot of times they try to say, oh, well, child support is black people's problem and so forth and so on. But it dates back not to black people in America at least, but to other nationalities, if you will. So why do I mention that? When there is love, there's forgiveness, as we're going to go over in the scriptures. When there is love, there is, I don't want to keep on offending. That love, like when you watch the movie Boomerang, sometimes I use movies as a source. Says love should have brought your bleep home last night. You understand? Looking upon it like that, us men have dropped the ball. Be it through Christianity saying a woman cannot teach or speak in certain cases, or be it through learn a woman's place and be quiet. Then the later generation of males, such as myself and even later generations, wonder why, oh, we don't know much about women. You told women to be silent. Only speak to your husband if she has any questions. And what if he don't have the answer? Then he go and ask another man. And if you're dealing with a harlot spirit of a female, is, well, I may as well just be with him because he knows what you don't know. If there is no love there, that kind of energy would be in that case. So, brothers and sisters, we may want to learn ahaba or love. Some people love wickedness. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what the guy Mekhi Phifer playing Richard Porter in the movie Paid in Full stated. I love the game. I love the hustle. For you to want to do that, knowing what it can cause, and seeing your mom on that, no disrespect to the Porter family, may both Rich and his Ima or mother rest in peace. Right? That right there just embodied kind of matter in that case. People work better when they love their job. And love comes in different forms. Sometimes it comes kind. Sometimes it comes rough. Sometimes it comes tough. And sometimes it comes not trying to be funny, correct me if I'm wrong, benign. What do I mean by that when I say benign? Sometimes people try to hide the love that they have for whatever reason. So certain things that's done or stated or anything of that sort is in the name of love. We have to, like the Most High stated, you shall love your neighbors yourself. And we're going to pull it up right now with the time allotted. Thank you for such. We're going to pull this PowerPoint up. This is not long at all. All right. And we're going to have slideshow. Well, first we're going to have that added, put up. And we have slideshow and starting from the beginning. love, Ahaba, Shalom. This presentation brought to you from Danite Publications is dedicated to speaking on love. We hope all is well and will be better. This is not to toot my own horn. I remember I gave a brother some Hebrew notes, and I'm going to shout out our friend's name, Akum Laya, the brother Kum. For those who do know, he rhymes, he drums, and so he's part of the Mishpaka drummers, for those who do know. And another brother whose name I won't mention because we're friends, but we hardly speak as such. He and that brother Kum was saying, yo, that brother right there just bless you. That's love right there. Remember Biggie Smalls, may he rest in peace, in the song that he did? Forgot how the whole thing went. Nah, love went in disrespect. I didn't say them. I'm talking about these other N-words and all this other kind of stuff. But Biggie Smalls, and when he was doing this song, mentioned, nah, love went in disrespect. And what he's talking about love in that case, talking about a person. I have a nickname for my lady called Love Love. That's a nickname that I have for her. That's the name that I use to address my lady. You understand? So I can say, as I pointed out before, I understand about in Genesis 24:67. Because when that love and that concern is there, you're going to do your best to be there, even if it's just to be one's mouthpiece to give wisdom, one's ears to hear what's going on, one's advisor, and so forth. You understand? To the brothers who are single, I hope you find who you want. And to the sisters who are single, I hope you be found by whom you want. Because we have to build that ahaba with us. And along with that, there are other things. The mibchan, the trust. The emet, the truth. I say we're not going to go over a lot of Hebrew, but just some things. The hakshaba, the attention. Looking upon all of that, let's get into the scriptures and close this portion out. Love in the book. And I'm only citing out of the Torah and the book of Proverbs. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and he seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had for her. So what a brother's talking about? The book don't say you got to love your wife. That is foolishness. Our ancestor was not a simp for loving Rachel. And the kind of love that it's talking about would bring one to do certain things that's not its regular. You go above and beyond. Let me know how I can be of any assistance. And it's nothing to you when you're doing such because of what? That love that you have for that. Or that ain't nothing. If I got, you got kind of spirit. From male to female or from female to male. You understand? When we read right here, he served 7 years. They seemed to him but a few days for the love he had for her. Now, Rachel and him, Jacob, of all of Jacob's 12 children, 13, me and Dina as well, his best child, correct me if I'm wrong, was from the woman he loved. Reuben, Shimon, Lewi, Yahuda, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Yissaschar, Zebulun. Joseph's 10 older brothers conspired, threw him in the pit, and sold him. And if you want to deal outside of the Bible, if you will, the lost books of the Bible, Forgotten Books of Eden, which you can get on Amazon, right? Issachar spoke on that. Simeon spoke on that. I wanted to kill Joseph, but my brothers wouldn't let me. So when we read later on in Torah, lo tikwak isha wa akota b'chayeha litzoror. I'm paraphrasing. Do not take a woman and her sister in the same lifetime to be a rival to her. You're not supposed to marry two sisters. That's too close for comfort. There's going to be no peace. It uses the Hebrew word zarar, which zar means trouble. Zarar, for those who've been following the Hebrew, sorry if I sound hypocritical saying I wasn't going to go into Hebrew. Anytime you double the last letter, it's emphasized. So to the people who don't, not trying to be funny, understand Hebrew, thinking King David or David killed Goliath twice. No. In 1 Samuel 17, the reason why you see that Hebrew there like that, which we'll go over in the future, is to emphasize that matter. So, brothers, you cannot marry two sisters, even if you're into polygyny. And if you're not into polygyny, be who you are. And if you are into polygyny, know what you're going to be doing. And if you're into monogamy, know what you're going to be doing. Be humble enough to learn what it is, to not make the mistakes of our fathers. Most of us coming out of wedlock, no marriage, no ring on mommy's finger, going to mommy's job. There's no picture of her and Abba on the thing with the dog or the cat. But when you see the nations in their marriages, not that they ain't got problems, you see that with the fence in front of the house. So when we read, y'all have heard that I was hated, so he made his son. Shimon, what is that tribe and what is their father going to teach their children about women, dads, and moms? We have to stop the generational curses. Get up out of our feelings, but at the same token, respect feelings. Shema la regesh. Don't sit there and try to suppress it like, oh, just forget it, whatever. That's oppressive. That's not a good thing. Shalom, Adonai, Kanan, Yahuda. Shalom, Ak. Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. That's in the Tanakh. The Most High and his love has mercy coupled with it. The Most High's mercy endures forever, but not on the same person forever. So you don't want to play the Most High like a game. And you don't want to play the children of the Most High like a game. To make it solidified in the book of Nehemiah, they made a covenant. Or in the book of Ezra, they made a covenant. Solomon messed up dealing with the foreign women, and we've been messing up dealing with the foreign women. Let us make a covenant before the Most High that we won't do that. In the time of Jonah, they made a covenant in part by making vows in that particular case on the ship when they found out it was Jonah's God that was causing it. So when the Most High troubles your sea, but still hold you in his hand, confess before Yah that you know it was his hand. And whatever you know that you should have not been doing or should have been doing, you either stop what you should have not or start what you should have, or sometimes just stop and start, depending upon the situation. Psalms says, Yahweh, Yah has chastened me sore, but has not given me over unto death. Open to me the gate to righteousness, and I shall enter into them. That's in the book of Psalms. So if the Most High gives one a spanking as a father would do, it's to get you back in line so you can sit there and see the error of your ways. Because whom Yahweh loves, he correcteth. You understand? Situation like Dayton and Abiram, that time done ran out. In the ground, sadly, you go. But if you have not the hardened heart of like Pharaoh had, and you can see that these plagues are hitting you. First, the serpent matter. Me and my lady been in Egypt. They got serpents all over there. For those who are interested, when they went into Seti's tomb of Dynasty, I think it was Dynasty 19, 6 men died. They had all kinds of booby traps with snakes and everything like that inside of Seti's tomb, because you're not supposed to dig into dead pharaohs. Why do I point that out? Because the Most High is going to talk to you in a way that he know you'll understand it's me. Moses in the burning bush. Somebody else probably would have walked right on by. The serpent. This hand turned into a different color. What? And then the plagues, the matter with the water turning to blood, the frogs, the locusts, the gnats, all of these different things coming upon, right down to when the sun is blocked out. Yeah, I'm getting at your gods. I know what you worship. And when Passover, which is coming upon us, O house of Israel, this is what Moshe said, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians and they don't stone us? They worship the ram called cones in Egyptian culture while Israel is killing it. This is why I like to see the pattern of the cultures of what's being talked about. Israel left out of Egypt when the moon was full. They were saying Yah. So sometimes they try to say the moon god of Egypt is Yah, but it's not even pronounced as that even in Egyptian. Why do I point all this out? He brought Israel out because he loved them and told Israel, I got at the Egyptians. Don't abhor them. You should not abhor or hate greatly an Egyptian because you was a servant in his land. See, when the Most High take care of something for you, like only he can, you ain't got to, I'm going to add, you should not add to nor take away from the word of Yah, the bar, the word of the Lord, but you still can't add on to the Most High's work. What he made straight, you can't make crooked. What he made crooked, you cannot make straight. And when you see that it's the Most High's hand or something, it's time for you to fall back. He don't need your 2 cents, O sons of man. So harp, stop trying to mess with the weather. It's not going to work for you. The season's still going to be what it is. It's already prophesied that the seasons will look odd. It's already spoken about. So you don't need to add on to that. You don't need to sit there and try to put microchips in the animals to find them. You don't have to sit there and try to revamp and, as the saying goes, play God. Let's continue. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yah. So be it the Masoretic text, be it the KJV, the NIV, or any version of the Bible, the word of the Most High being the author of these laws is still in there in every single version. Be it the Orit, which is written in Ge'ez or Amharic that the Falasha, quote unquote, Beit Yisrael use, or be it the King James Version that many of us got. It's still saying, I am the Lord. So regardless of what version you got, the author being the Most High still is consistent. And he stated, you shall not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of your people. Let things go after a while, especially if your brother or sister confessed. I offended a brother, no need to mention his name online. And because I offended him online, just weights and balances, I apologize online. See, you don't offend online. Get maybe a GoFundMe or PayPal donation and then sit there and apologize off camera. If you did it on camera, Yahweh spoke to Moses and Joshua and said, be strong and courageous. Have the heart to say, Shagagati, my fault. Katati, I have sinned. Pashati, I have transgressed. Hewati, I have committed iniquity. But you do not go the creep way, the remes. Leviticus 11 tells us we're not supposed to deal with creepy animals. Things that creep on its belly. The remes, or from ramas, which means to creep. If a person's creepy, we tell the children to stay away from them. If the animal's creepy, we don't eat that in the house of Israel. So we cannot be what we should not eat. You understand? And I'm not saying whether people like chicken, being chicken. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying on a maybe a higher way how we're supposed to be in character. These laws identify your character. It says again, you shall not avenge. Let things go. Why? Because hatred stirreth up strife, but love covereth all sins. So don't avenge. I'm going to get you back like you didn't. Don't think like that. Trust in Yah, and the Most High will handle it. Ahab was a murderer after he repented. The Most High told, I think it was the prophet Elijah, do you see how Ahab humbled himself by putting on sackcloth and repenting? The Most High sees that. When the Most High gives you a spanking, he wants you to correct your way. Whatever that way is. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings. Cease to do evil. And what says Isaiah? Learn to do well. Get a class on it. Get your elders. Get your advisors. Learn to do well. I messed up here. What not to do there? I messed up there again. What not to do there? Chief of Chief Naphtali, Shalom aloud. May he rest in peace. Following his advice, I believe, and by the blessing of the Most High, I haven't been fired from many jobs. And it's not to get too personal. I think in my whole life, I only been fired from one job. Everything else that I don't work, I resigned. He gave me some good advice. Chief of Chief Naphtali. Once it came down to it, I'm going to show his picture. I think I got it right here in this book, if I remember right? For those who do know, may he rest in peace. He was a very good friend, a very good elder. And he never, while being a friend, sat there and made it to where he acted like one of the kids. He definitely always maintained his honor in said matter. But I want to look for real quick his picture here before we close out. And I'm sure I have it. Yes, I do. Right here. This picture right here. This man right here, brothers and sisters. When we had problems in the family, outside of Shabbat, I called him. Gave my mother beautiful advice. And he gave me some advice. Son, don't burn bridges. You're dealing with a fool. I'm paraphrasing. At the job, you don't say, and I don't mean no disrespect, but he got raw. He don't say certain words I won't say on the channel. Bleep you fat bleep. No. And he did not say bleep. No pun intended. You're burning bridges. Why did he maybe do that? I want you to understand it wasn't even say on a set certain timing, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I'm going to talk to you in a language that you understand. Isaiah said what? I'm of unclean lips. In the midst of people of unclean lips. That's probably why you being sent. You don't take the person from the palace under Solomon and King Hezekiah and King Uzziah, whose vocabulary is extremely high in Hebrew. Why I say that? Because the vocabulary in Judges 5, where Deborah sings, and the vocabulary of Solomon is totally different. He uses a higher form of Hebrew words. So instead of saying in English something like fun, it's more like the enjoyments. Is that jelly? No, this is jam. This is great poupon. Don't you dare call it mustard. Remember, Solomon's house was paved with gold. So I'm not going to send perhaps the person from the golden house. I'm going to send a person that's from Mother Gaston and Duma to speak to the people over on Livonia and Van Sicklen because they understand each other. You understand? For those who know Brooklyn, know where I'm coming from. I'm going to send a person from Valentine Avenue in the hood of the Bronx to go and talk to the people over in Patterson and Real Book Projects because the person coming from, I am from Chelsea. You're not going to be able to relate to the people. So yes, Isaiah, you being of unclean lips, I'm going to send you to the people who can relate to you. That's intelligence of the Most High. So what are we going to say concerning love in closing this out? But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love them as thyself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. being born in a certain place, even if you was born in the same place or a different place. Love your neighbor, but don't use the love to be disrespectful, because then that's not love. That's called spiritual pimping. Because even the Most High's mercy and love runs out. After Leviticus says, and I will strike you 7 times more for your sins. And if you go against me again, I will do it 7 more times for your sins until you come back. But by the time you get in Leviticus 26, if I misquoted the chapter earlier, and you see the Most High is affecting your staff of bread, which is your livelihood. You see the Most High is affecting your family, and you still don't understand to return to the Most High God. We see our brothers getting hurt and killed and everything like that, and sisters left abandoned. The daughter of Zion is left as a booth in the garden of cucumbers. Usually you put the cucumbers in the garden, in the booth from the garden. The daughter of Zion is left like the booth in the garden of cucumbers, because she's out of place without that rosh or head in many, many cases. And he's out of place. And like it says, though they are slain, none receives correction. So we're supposed to understand why we go through certain kind of things. It is the Most High speaking to us. We don't get no justice when this happens. It's because it's not them. It's Yah talking to you. They made amendments to the Constitution for Black people in America. And I'm going to close out soon enough. You know why they had to make amendments? It's because the Most High already gave you his laws. They can't give you laws when you're already under covenant with the Most High God. So how can another people give you a law when the Most High already got you severed from the people under his laws? That's why their laws don't work for us. Our solution is return to Yah. We have a personal and spiritual connection and cultural connection with the Most High. We are going to get certain states for ourselves, and we're going to formulate. No, you're going to return to the Most High. I'm going to bring you back to the land of your forefathers. You're not, brothers and sisters, going to get 3 states inside the United States talking about this is Black man's land. Where our land is in the East. Our language is the Hebrew. A language you can't curse in and use profanity in, by the way. And our culture is the Torah. That's why anything else doesn't work for us. You understand? So for those of us who know, Israel, the Most High did not open your eyes. And I don't want to use racial epithets or terms. As a Black man or woman, whether from the womb or later on, to this great truth. And blew up the spot of the so-called Jewish man. Who the real Jews are, for you to come into this great truth and play games with his people. Their lies and their cover-ups and their ways of shystiness didn't work. We begin to read Deuteronomy 28. So why do we think that we came to this great truth, whether from the womb or afterward, and think we can play against our people? We're supposed to play with. And when I say play with, I mean happy before and playing in this habitable earth, like Proverbs 8 says. And my delights are with the sons of men. Brothers, we got to treat our sisters better. Biological sisters and the sisters that we are courting with, engaged to, married to. The daughters of Zion are crying out. And don't think because if it may not be in prayer that the Most High don't hear it. You read about Hannah, Samuel's mother. If you give me a son, I will give him to you. And he became one of the greatest prophets under the level of Moshe. If Moshe and Shemuel stood before me, I still could. Most I put Shemuel on the level of Moshe in Jeremiah 15. He was promised by a woman to the Most High, and he became great. So, brothers and sisters, let us learn to love one another, cease to do evil and learn to do well. Let us make covenants with ourselves before the Most High and to the Most High on how we want to live, should live, don't want to live, and how we should not live. That way the Most High can see these children of Israel are becoming the nation of Israel and not just children. We read, me and my lady in Hosea. It says, you shall be called the children or the people of the living God. You're always going to be known by your father as a bane or a son or offspring. That's the thing with fathers, if you will. So with our Heavenly Father, the Most High, the Creator, Maker of heaven and earth, who opened up our eyes to this truth, as it says, He heals all your diseases. May He do so mentally, physically, spiritually, socially, economically, and like we read in the book of Psalms, beseech you, O Yah, send prosperity. Happy New Year, House of Israel. Happy New Month. This is the first Shabbat now concluded in this new year for us as the House of Israel. And let a happy spring forth for us. We don't have to wait till Yom Kippur to say, may a happy year spring forth for us. We can start saying it now. And we can be that Abib and Abiba that's sprouting forth that greenery, that produce, the thing that the Most High made. Don't think the Most High watches and brings it to you, what He intended for you and what happened. Let's go to Jeremiah 2:21 before we close out. In the scriptures, we're going to read in Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. Yet I have planted you a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? I didn't make this. I didn't bring no seed student into this earth. This is what you're giving me. So if we were created to be a notable vine in Jeremiah chapter 2:21, shake yourself off the dust, as it says in Isaiah chapter 51, chapter 52, and be that exceeding great army that Ezekiel 37 talks about. Confess your wrongs, admit to it. You ain't got to go online and admit to it. Everybody ain't everything business. But if the Most High is letting you know, definitely want to make amends with the Creator of heaven and earth. Because this is not just a God that we talk about on the Shabbat, because He created all days. And if you have a problem with the Shabbat, ask the Most High for strength with it. I found 2 elders in Israel that shocked me. When I came in this understanding, the hardest thing to give up was shrimp. The person who said that gave birth to me. I said, Mommy, shrimp tastes good. I'm like, but I'm 9 years old. She's already teaching me Leviticus 11. If it don't have feathers and scales, you can't eat it. Yeah, but it tastes good. But she's not going to eat it because it's against the laws of the Most High. That was in so many ways her sacrifice, if you want to say it like that. I'm not going to indulge in that. And I heard an Israelite elder say that pork tasted good when he ate it. But God said you can't do it. How does that tie into this in closing out in love? Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Our forefather Jacob, the woman he wanted, he served for her for 7 years, and it seems as a few days. And being a stranger, love him as yourself. So the Most High only says, hate the evil and love the good, and that's in Amos. Giving honor and praise unto Yah, creator of heaven and earth. We're going to say shalom right now to the family, and hopefully people enjoyed it, learned from it. Nobody's perfect. Doesn't mean that you have to sit in your imperfection. You can become better. Like the token crouches at the door, and to you is his desire, but you can rule over that because you're a ruler already. With that, shalom.